Okay, people, seemingly the final war towards the end of the finale of My Hero Academia is beginning, starting with chapter 341. And I'm not gonna lie, after taking a bit of a break myself from talking about the series the last few weeks, I am very hyped to return and talk about a villain-centric chapter. In particular, we got Toga, we got Dabi, we got All for One, we got Spinner. We got a lot to discuss and digest because, yeah, people, you know, it was back in Jump Festa this month that just passed, that it was spoken regarding Horikoshi, the author, saying that, yeah, if everything goes according to plan within a year's time from that time that he spoke, My Hero Academia might have meet its goal. And if we're starting the war, if the war is getting ready to begin right now, we might be headed towards that goal. We might be in the climax of My Hero Academia, headed towards the end. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm ready for it, baby. I'm holding on to my chair right now in anticipation for the epicness that is about to ensue. Let's do it, baby. Let's talk a little bit of that greatness, that villain greatness, that Toga greatness, that Dabi greatness, that My Hero Academia greatness. Huh? You thought I was gonna give you a little extended greatness? Got you again, didn't I? Let's do it, baby.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
So, My Hero Academia chapter 341 starts off and gets me really hyped because y'all know I'm a massive fan of the villain side of things. I've always said that Horikoshi, one of the things that his story, My Hero Academia, shines the brightest for me personally is when we get into the psyche and just in general diving deep into the villains. And this chapter once again dives just into that. And I love it. It feels very personable. It really dives deep into characters again like Toga, because we start off with a cover page of Himiko Toga. And I ain't gonna lie, it's been a rocky roller coaster ride with her character ever since her convictions of where should she go as a person has been topsy-turvy, you know, going from all the way back where we had the My Villain Academia arc and she fought that reporter, and really, you know, we dove deep into her backstory of what happened to her, how she was an outcast and all that jazz. And this chapter felt like it brought it full circle, to be honest with you, and it was really sad, honestly. I always just feel genuinely sad for Toga whenever I see her. And then on top of that, you know, she's recently lost people that she cared about as well, like with Twice, somebody that actually understood her at a deeper level. Also, I wanted to note that seemingly the title of this chapter, and unless this translation is wrong, it says The Story of How We All Became Heroes -1. And up until this point, the last 3 chapters, if I'm not mistaken, was called The Story of How We Became Heroes 1, 2, 3. But this one, again, unless the translation is off, says -1. So does that mean that somebody within this story didn't become a hero, or is it because it's the villains? It's saying like, no, this is not really the story. Like, that was kind of interesting to note, of having that chapter title in general kind of doesn't mesh well, because again, we're looking at the villain side of things. There wasn't really anything, you know, heroic, so to speak, within this. So who knows, maybe it might actually go The Story of How We Became Heroes -1, 2, and 3, again going deep into the villains and their preparations for the finale, the big war. But we see that Toga, she has revisited her old childhood home. She's walking around there. She's seeing all the writings on the walls of just, in general, all the mockery and the messed up things that was said about her. And, you know, she's just reminiscing. And again, I feel like chapters like this take it to a different level from My Hero Academia. It takes it to a darker level. It takes it to a more personable level. It really breaks down the character and just shows the ins and outs of them. And of course, we've already had situations that kind of signified what Toga struggles with as a person. But this chapter just yet again pushed forward, and I think it was just a final conviction check for Toga herself. Like, is this really what I want to do? Because you already know this final war is about to be, you know, the climax. So for her to look back one last time and see, am I leaving like this life behind for good? There's no turning back after this particular point. And yeah, I mean, you know, already as a child, like this chapter yet again reminds us that her parents said we tried everything we could with her, but she's just a demon child. How people would say, oh my god, Himiko Toga's creepy face, she's a creep and stuff like that. Like, it's just her understanding her pain and reminding us, I guess, of her pain, even though there ain't no forgetting that when it comes to My Villain Academia. Okay, that shit shined. Maybe the anime didn't do it the justice it deserved, but the manga, yeah, it made people really love a character like Toga. And I ain't gonna lie, it kind of got a little bit like, whoa, when she went to revisit her old room and she was thinking back of how she used to have these weird dreams and how she wanted, I think it was like a crow to eat her insides. It was just a little bit bizarre of how she used to even chew and suck on her own freaking arm in her sleep and stuff like that. Like, she had problems. Honestly, somebody like her doesn't necessarily fit into society's norms, so to speak, without some help. Like, that's the thing about the My Villain Academia verse for people like Toga, that they have quirks that aren't necessarily something that can, you know, blend in with society, so to speak. What about doctors, mental health doctors, for people that have quirks that are maybe unstable and things like that? If she had mental health doctors that actually understood and could sympathize, like, okay, you have this issue, obviously you can't go around hurting people, biting people, and sucking their blood. Let's figure out a happy medium so we can understand how you can function in society with these cravings and urges. Like, there's people that they have cravings and urges every day that they don't act on them. Somebody like Toga, if they had the resources, so to speak, in society, in My Hero Academia society, could function in that society as well. So I feel like it was society that let Toga down for the most part. Already her family and everybody kind of come across as snobs anyway, that they didn't even care enough about their child to really just genuinely, like, I'm sticking by my child no matter what. I don't care. Like, I'm gonna get her the help she needs. I'm gonna do everything I possibly can and then some, because if not, I failed as a parent. Toga's parents, the fact that, well, we tried, I don't care what she's did, that's your child, dog, I'm riding with mine regardless. But Dabi pops up and says, who would have thought even a psycho like you has feelings? And yeah, Dabi, okay, you're the last one to talk, dog. And Dabi asks her, because again, it feels like this chapter was just a final conviction check for pretty much everybody on the villain side of things, like, yo, do you have what it takes to put an end to this pathetic world? And again, that's like, you know, even probably himself, which Dabi, for the most part, I think he's ready. Like, everybody else, they're kind of questioning themselves. Even later on in the chapter, we'll get to in a second, regarding Spinner and everybody else, they're questioning. Dabi knows, no, I want to put an end to this shit. Like, I'm trying to put people down for dirt naps. Like, this is where we're going. And upon her saying, yeah, I'm ready, he says, good. This world doesn't care if you smile or cry. The sun is gonna go up and down like, you know, normal regardless. So let's have a good laugh. Almost kind of reminded me of like the Joker in a way. Like, Dabi, even the questions and stuff like that, like, it's almost surface level, teetering towards a depth that these characters have that I would argue for the most part you don't really get necessarily from the hero side of things, because of course those heroes, while they've went through traumatic situations, these people, they're like, Toga's a victim of society, Dabi's a victim of his father. These are victims that went rogue because it's like, yo, enough is enough, and if nobody's gonna help me out in my situations, I'm gonna take my fate into my own hands. So these are victims. I look at them as, yeah, they're criminals, yeah, they need to be stopped, yeah, they're trying to destroy society, but it's because society failed them, and victimhood. However, Dabi blows up seemingly Toga's old home, which again was very symbolic of, you know, leaving the past behind for good, not looking back anymore. So very, you know, Horikoshi diving into, and he always gets in this bag when it comes to the villains, and blowing up the home was almost as well a positive, caring gesture for somebody that he cares about, because the League of Villains, they're like a family at this point. So yeah, you accepted this is where we're going with it moving forward. Okay, let's burn the past already, it doesn't matter anymore. And Dabi had managed, prior to Makia destroying shit, of getting Twice's blood, so now Toga can use Twice's powers, which RIP Twice, dog. When that was mentioned, I was like, oh, why you gotta remind me about Twice? And I loved it when he said, so let's carry on with Sad Man's parade, because the ones who laugh last, of course, are gonna laugh the hardest, and it's gonna be us. And I love that whole scenario, man. Like, maybe Toga doesn't have somebody like Twice anymore by her side that was family like, but Dabi's gonna step up to the plate, which is showcases in his own twisted way that Dabi does have some compassion and caring. It's just, of course, not for the people that he wants to destroy and murder like Endeavor, but ultimately there is a good person somewhere smothered in the ashes of who Toya is at his core. But we cut to some other villains, some other sides of things, where we see Spinner. He's searching for Shigaraki, and he looks and he sees all for one of them, and you can tell that Spinner probably feels so messed up about this whole situation, because yeah, he came for a cause, but it wasn't this. And if he had it his way, he would immediately remove All For One from the situation, because this isn't really what he wanted. But All For One chimes in to Spinner that don't worry, Shigaraki's recovery is going smooth, and yeah, he's still Shigaraki. I mean, for the time being, right? Because how much much longer until, if there was only, what, 2 to 3% left until All For One completely took over Shigaraki's body, it's only a matter of time until there's no more Shigaraki. Even though I don't think necessarily that Shigaraki is going to go away for good. There's no way that, you know, we've had this entire story, 341 chapters with Shigaraki, and then by the time the war starts, Shigaraki will never be seen again. Like, him and Deku need to have that final encounter, whether it be for fighting, whether it be for saving, whatever it is, they still need to interact. So yeah, he's still going to be able to see Shigaraki, and I don't think Shigaraki is going to be gone for good. Even if they say it's 100%, Shigaraki is still going to be somewhere within there, and he's somehow going to come out. I would love for the war goes down, and I'm throwing some headcanon in here now, but this would be amazing. War goes down, All For One is seemingly defeated, Shigaraki retains his body, and he's like, that doesn't mean anything's changed. I want to destroy this world. Deku, come at me, bro. Let's do this. Let's finish this off. That would be sick. Because in my mind, Shigaraki is always going to be the final villain no matter what. This is Shigaraki's show. It's just All For One is coming in with the commercials, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't want to downplay All For One neither like that. I'm a Shigaraki fan, okay? Alright? And it seems as though Spinner had one of Shigaraki's old hands that he used to have on his face that is like all charred up. And I want to say that possibly Spinner again is bringing that so that he can retain Shigaraki, because Spinner, he rides for Shigaraki. He's just going along with everything because what can he really do? But ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if that's why he brought that charred hand with him. Is like, he got to remember who he is. I don't want to lose him. This whole cause and everything, I'm following his lead regardless. But the dude from the Liberation Army starts to preach about Spinner and how his kind ultimately have this deep harboring hatred for the humans. And honestly, it seems like there's a lot of manipulation going on, and I'm not so sure if the guy from the Liberation Army is doing that on All For One's behalf, or if he's drinking the Kool-Aid too, so to speak, in terms of he's pushing this narrative to Spinner of like, yeah, man, you know, you're kind, they need this, you know what I'm saying? You're a symbol of hope for these people. And despite the fact that Spinner's like, dog, that's not what I came here for. Like, I didn't come here for none of that stuff. But like, he realizes the die has been cast and things are too far now to turn back, so you gotta roll with the punches. And I really hope the anime doesn't downplay all of these really epic moments for Spinner, these important moments for Spinner, because it looks like the anime doesn't particularly care for Spinner that much, and these moments are awesome. The fact that Shigaraki has somebody that genuinely cares about him and goes hard for him, like Spinner right here, it would really just be a shitty shame if they really cut out all of this awesome stuff with Spinner, the same way they did in the My Villain Academia stuff, because Spinner's awesome, okay? And apparently they're waiting for Spinner to pull some sort of trigger, which seemingly is the beginnings of the war. It seems as though one of the things that All For One, yet again, always with the manipulation, very, very major key with how he rolls. Ultimately, they're waiting for Spinner to pull the trigger to essentially utilize all of these people that look at Spinner like a symbol of hope for their kind to ultimately start this war, and All For One having even more muscle, people that are going to follow him. They may not follow the ideologies of All For One, but they're going to look at Spinner like, oh, if Spinner's doing this, we got to ride with him. He's ours. We rolling with him. We got love for him. So they're kind of using Spinner and who he is and what he represents for their own cause, even though Spinner doesn't really agree with that shit. And we see a panel towards the end of a bunch of seemingly mutants that are gathering together, and I ain't gonna lie, it was just real sad, that final line. That's it, Iguchi. Anyone can become someone else's hero, and essentially he's basically going to be the hero to these mutants, but also he's trying to be Shigaraki's hero as well. I feel like he's going to die for Shigaraki's sake, to save Shigaraki, because he rides for him. He's a real one. I ain't gonna lie, I absolutely love this chapter. Last couple chapters, set up, build up from the hero's perspective of things. Of course, the questioning of Aoyama. I love this chapter way more than all that stuff. Like, this chapter was so good, diving into, again, I guess leaving the past behind even more so, with Toga and Dabi, and then Spinner finding his final resolve of, well, if I gotta do this for Shigaraki, I'm going to do this for my guy. But I'm curious what you guys think. Are you excited? It seems as though the war is about to begin. We got the mutants, we got everybody is on board. Shit is about to get hectic and crazy. You think that Shigaraki is going to be completely gone when the war starts? I mean, clearly he's going to be there at some given point. This is not, regardless if it's 100% or not, this is not going to be the end for Shigaraki. Your overall thoughts and anticipation for what's to come with 342 and beyond. Oh, I really, really love this chapter, man. I go, I love the villains from My Hero Academia. Horikoshi just does such a fantastic job with them. That's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and long live the League of Villains. I love these guys. I don't care. They're victims, and they're trying their best to keep going and moving forward, despite the fact that this isn't the most ideal situation of what they particularly wanted. But gotta roll with the punches, man. I love these guys. Have an awesome one.
So just go to find me.